Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Benny Auto Parts Facebook page and our YouTube subscribers. So we're going to talk a little bit today about this 327 that we've been building. We've got it pretty much assembled. This will be, I believe, part 5 of the build video. So this has been a 5-step process. So what we've gotten done since the last time, and we'll just review the last time we were laying the crankshaft in it, hooking up all of our bearings and mains and checking everything and got our pistons and rods in it. So all that's been done, finished up. So we have got now, we've gotten got the intake manifold installed on it. It's an aluminum original equipment, 327, 345 horse intake manifold. It's what they commonly call, Chevrolet called it Winners, a Winners intake manifold. So that is installed on it. We've got the valve train installed. We've got the nice Corvette valve covers installed. We've gotten all this cleaned up and we got it repainted. Looks really, really nice. We've got the oil pan installed on it. As you can see, this is installed. We've got the oil filter installed on it. So we're getting really close to running this engine. We're going to try and get it on the run-in stand as soon as we get this Pontiac off of there, which is coming off today, hopefully. We're going to get this one installed on the run-in stand, and we're going to get it cranked up and fired up for the customer and get everything set to specs. So we've got a few components still to put on. With pan over here, we'll show you some of the components we've got. Of course, we've got the customer a new clutch. We've got his, it's a standard shift car, so we got his flywheel. We've machined the flywheel for him. This is the one of the breather pipes that goes on the back of the block right here. It goes like this and bolts right there. This is actually the old style PCV system on the older 327s. This was before they switched to PCV coming out of the valve cover. So this is actually the breathing system for the internal gases and internal pressures of the engine to be removed out through this. So we've got that ready to install. Got it nice cleaned up and painted for the customer. We've got harmonic balancer. It's got an 8-inch harmonic balancer on it. We've got that all cleaned up and ready to go. We're going to install that. We've got its lower pulley. This is the lower balancer pulley. It's cleaned up and painted. This is the top one. This is the goes on the water pump. We've got it ready to go. So this is his thermostat housing. Of course, this thermostat housing will bolt right here on the front of the engine like this. We don't typically run a thermostat in them when we build, when we run them on the stand. We don't like to run thermostats because thermostats tend to make them heat up real fast, and we don't want that. We want a gradual heat up situation where we can get it up to operating temperature in 10-15 minutes so we can get these initial runs. We try to run our engines minimum 3 to 4 times, 15 to 20 minute cycles each run. And the reason we do that is to get the rings broke in, get the cam and lifters seated in. We always use break-in oil. This particular engine will use 30 weight straight break-in oil. This engine holds 6 quarts, so we'll have 6 quarts of break-in oil in it, and we'll run this thing probably 3 to 4 heat cycles and get everything broke in good, and so that we don't have any premature wear. And once we give it back to the customer, once he cranks it up and fires it up, and after it's in the vehicle, it'll be ready to go. Break-in process will basically be done. So moving back over here, we've got, this is the customer's exhaust manifolds. These are the ram horn manifolds. We've refurbished them, got them surfaced, and we recoated them with a graphite process that we use. Works really good. It kind of puts the factory color back on it, and believe it or not, this will hold. It will not burn off, which is very, very good. keeps that factory look. We've got both of them ready to go. So we've got this customer's distributor right here. Of course, once we get it on the engine run-in stand, we'll put the distributor in it and set all that. This particular one is a flamethrower with the igniter system. In other words, it's been converted from points, no longer has points. It's been converted to an HEI style system using the igniter 2, which is a real good system. We use those quite a lot. We really like them. They work really, really well. So this is a complete distributor that he bought already done. So that's a good piece to have there. Of course, this cap and all. So we're moving ahead on this. We're gonna get it on the stand and hopefully get it run. Like I said earlier, we're gonna try and do it over the weekend, possibly on Monday. If we do get it running Monday, we'll actually do a part 6 of the video, which will be the final video. It'll show it on the stand running and how we set everything to specs. And so right now it's pretty close. We're gonna get a few more components installed, and then once we get the balancer and the pulleys on it, get this pipe on it, a few more things, we'll get it on the stand. Of course, we've got to put the flywheel on it. We can't put the flywheel on it until we get it off the engine stand here. So that's kind of where we're at. A couple other things that are going on in the shop right now is this is the Pontiac. This is the 400 that we have been running. So this engine has been run. Actually, it's been run now probably 5 or 6 times. Was waiting on the customer to bring his carburetor, but he's been having some trouble getting his carburetor. So actually what we did, this particular carburetor, well, let me back up. The first time we ran this engine, we ran it on our house carburetor. In other words, Benny Auto Parts carburetor, known good carburetor. We ran it on that. Ran really good. So what I decided then is the carburetor for this engine was rebuilt locally. So I said, well, let's try this carburetor on the Pontiac and make sure that the carburetor's good, so that we know we don't have any problems. So anyway, that's what we've done. This carburetor that's mounted on here now is actually the carburetor that's going to go on this engine. But we mounted it on here, hooked everything up and ran it, and it runs really, really good. So once we get this one on the stand, this carburetor will come off of this engine. It'll go on this engine, and this is the correct carburetor that goes with this engine. But this was just kind of like a little test to make sure that that it was good. You know, the worst thing in the world to have a bad carburetor on something you're trying to break in and run. So we're real choosy, real particular about the carburetors that we use. I don't like to use old used carburetors. I would rather run it on a known good carburetor. So we keep a couple of carburetors around the shop that we use to run the engines. So that one is pretty much ready. Like I said earlier, this will come off the stand, off the engine run-in stand. We've got a little roll-around engine stand that we're going to put this engine on for the customer. We'll shrink wrap it up, get it ready to go, and he hopefully will probably pick this up. I don't know if he'll get it tomorrow. He might get it next week, but it'll be a wrap next week. So that this one here is almost done, ready to go. Cover it back up, and then over behind us is a project that we've been working on. This is the 427. This particular engine, we've got it built completely. It's a complete long block. I got the fuel pump mounted on it, and balancer and pulleys on it, intake manifolds on it. This is the valve covers. Customer has gotten us the correct 427 valve covers for it, so we're going to get those mounted on there. But just sitting on there right now to cover up everything. But this engine is, as soon as the 327 comes off the run-in stand, the 427 will go on the run-in stand, and then we'll get it finished up and cranked up and get it running. So got 3 builds really, really close to being finished. Looking forward to get all 3 of these done probably in the next 2 weeks, we're hoping. So stay tuned on the video for part 6. Part 6 will be this on the engine stand running. We'll highlight that for you. and kind of show you that process that we go through mounting it up and hooking it up. But that's kind of where we're at in the shop right now. So right down the line, after these three, we've got another 327. It's all right over here in the corner. All the parts and pieces are here. We've got to do that next. It's going in, I believe it's going in, I can't remember, I think it's a Camaro. I think he's putting it in a Camaro. But anyway, that's next down the line. So that's kind of where we're at in the shop. Got a lot to do, but we're getting there. It's just taking a little time. Building engines it takes a little time if you do it correctly. And we always strive to do the very best job we can for the customer. We don't just throw an engine together. We check everything. We check bearing clearances. We check ring gaps. This particular engine here, we did set the ring gap on these. Top ring 18 thousandths, second ring 20 thousandths. Even though it's going to be just a normally aspirated, it's not going to have any power additives. We always check our ring gap to make sure it's in the spec. Of course, if you're running nitrous, or if you're running turbo or supercharger, anything like that, that ring gap factor changes. So as you put induction on these and put more cylinder pressure in it, you got to make adjustments in your ring gap for that. But this particular one, being a stock one, we just put a stock ring gap in it, 18 and 20. So it's all good. So we're moving forward. Appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoy this video. We'll put this out this weekend, and then hopefully by next Friday, Thursday or so, we'll have part 6 of this engine running on the stand, and we'll kind of bring you up to speed on that. So thanks for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great Labor Day, by the way. We will be closed Monday for Labor Day. Might be doing a few things around the shop here on Monday, but we officially will be closed. So I want to wish everybody happy Labor Day, safe Labor Day. Be careful out there on the road. Accidents happen, and you just don't realize how quickly they can happen. So be super careful, and look forward to getting back to everybody on Tuesday morning at the shop ready to go. So thank you, and have a great weekend.